Welcome back to the Spent Brass channel, guys. Pistol Pete here, bringing you something pretty cool and different, possibly. You may have already seen videos on the Canik, or what I'll be calling the Canik TP9SFX. But I'm hoping that this is the first video of a TP9SFX in factory FDE out in the wild. Pretty excited about this gun. I've been wanting to run a pistol with optics on it for a long time, just haven't been super motivated. Been very interested in the TP9SFX. I've handled a few of them and was like, hey, I really should get one of these. But what really put me over the edge is when I saw it come out in FDE the other day. Ordered it, had it sent over to Alphacat's, came in really fast. I think I got it from Alphacat. You remember what it was at Gun Prime? Yeah. Gun Prime. And it was under 500 bucks shipped. So we're gonna walk you guys through. I'm gonna run probably like 400 or 500 rounds through it today and just hammer it and see what it's all about. I'm not gonna go through all the details. There's plenty of other videos on that. I'm just gonna do kind of like a first shots video. In the future, if this thing runs good and seems reliable and accurate, which other people seem to think it is, but I want to prove it to myself before I go investing in a red dot. What I'm interested in hearing from you guys is, at first I was interested in buying an FDE Trijicon reflex sight for this, but now I'm kind of leaning towards the Holosun because I have just had such good luck with Holosuns in the past. So if you guys have any recommendations on a good pistol optic outside of the Holosun or Trijicon, I'm open to hearing it. If you guys want to throw that in the comments below. Also interested in hearing what you guys think about the Canik and any experience that you have, anything I should be looking out for. Especially anything that hasn't been covered in the bunch of videos that are already out there on this pistol would be really appreciated. Anything else, mags, information, holsters, stuff like that, throw that in the comments below. And let's run some rounds through this thing and see how it goes. One of the things everybody's talking about with these Caniks is all the crap that they come with. And a lot of the time, like with Springfields, they used to come with the holsters and stuff. I think they probably still do. A lot of it isn't the best stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and say initial feelings about this holster that comes with this Canik TP9SFX is that it seems pretty freaking good. I've been drawing from it, and actually I just caught my shirt in it, so I'm kind of stupid, but it definitely has a decent feel to it. It's got a level of retention that just enough where you can kind of pop in or pop out, and then if you want to keep it on like this. I'm probably going to use this holster for desert duty as long as this gun is reliable. I'll try it. It's a paddle style holster and it seems to be pretty good on there. It's got some adjustment to the angle, We'll see how it goes, if it lasts long term, but initial feelings are pretty solid. All right, guys, first shots with the Canik TP9SFX in elusive FDE. We're at 9 yards on a little AR500 steel plate. I've got Magtech 124 grain. We're gonna start this gun out with some 124 grain Magtech and some 124 grain Fiocchi, and then I'm gonna move down kind of as throughout the day to 115 grain, and then finally we're gonna close out with some 115 grain Tulamo, which is like the true test of a pistol's reliability. Stay tuned. All right. Okay, that's a little right of center. Okay, that's exactly where I was going. Threaded the second shot. Okay, what was that, like 7, 8 shots?
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of bouncing around. I mean, that's pretty solid. Seems like I'm pulling it a little to the right. That could be me, could be the pistol. I'm not an expert with a pistol. But not bad for just kind of popping along. I'm gonna hold it to the left a little bit more and see if I can thread a couple right on top of each other. Yeah, not bad. Like the trigger. You know, initial testing with the triggers showed that it was almost exactly the same as my PPQs, which the take-up brake was about 5 pounds, maybe a hair over 5 pounds, and same reset. Feels really good shooting off a reset. Yeah, let's see if I can get a little lower and improve on that. Last shot. It's definitely doing its job so far. Let's do a mag dump. See how that goes. Okay. You know what helps? If you rack the slide. I think that's a huge drawback of this pistol. You do have to rack the slide. Okay.
That's at 9 yards.
9 yards, so it's not like I'm shooting really far, but
which is nice. No,
first 40 rounds, failure free. It's a pussycat. It feels like it has a little maybe less recoil than one of my Walthers, like a 5-inch. That might be because the extra weight. It could also be in my head. So, all right, well, let's keep putting rounds through it and see how it goes.
Cool.
Just for the sake of testing this Canik TP9SFX and elusive FDE, I'm just gonna be pumping rounds through it today. But I got a couple mags loaded up. I'm gonna probably do like a mag dump, and then I'm gonna start pushing it out onto the farther targets with a second mag and just see what's going on. Not bad for rapid fire. You know, just putting rounds through the thing, seeing how it runs. It's a soft shooter for sure. Uh-oh. This is why the desert is a good test.
Dirt test.
Not too bad. It's the first time I've raced. Phil, how far are those? Is that one 30 and that one's 25 or something like that?
Maybe.
It's around there. Well, I'll annotate the video, but we got two half-size IPSC targets here, and one is about 5 yards further back than the other one. They're at a slight angle. Seemed like I was hitting them okay. When I started speeding up, I started missing them. But first time with a gun. You know, after screwing around with that AOW shotgun, I'm realizing how soft a shooter this really is. Cool guys, I broke out the rangefinder just to give you some exact distances on these targets at the Trump's Wall station, which is where we do a lot of our static shooting. The one to the far right is a half-size IPSC target, and it's 27.5 yards. The one in the center is a half-size IPSC target. It's 22.5 yards. I think it's a quarter-size IPSC target, which is up and high to the left, is just about 35 yards. And then the close octagon, or it's a hexagon target, is just at about 9 or 10 yards. So I'll give you an idea. Alphacat's up there on the hillside. If you can see him up there, he's painting the small target. That's the small one. It's about the size of the palm of an extra large hand. We got a couple bowling pins out there we're gonna pick at too.
I'm sold.
So first mag through. Okay, let me just, before you say anything, think about what you're gonna say, because I just need to say, I feel like a real douchebag for not recording what Alphacat just did when he picked up that TP9SFX. He basically cleared all the targets first try, including the smallest target with a very close to center hit at 35 yards, which is a very difficult shot. After he cleared those, he had some misses, but he came back and started peppering double hits on targets and stuff. And I tried to catch the end with the camera, but I'm really interested in hearing his feedback. So I wanted to give him a second and kind of run my mouth and make that observation. But what do you think, Alpha?
Compared to the Glock 19 Gen 4, it's a really soft shooter. The sights are just 10 times better. easier to use.
These are
especially
worn
this fiber
tactical
optic
sights.
sight.
Yep.
Uh,
In fairness, it's a lot bigger and heavier than a G19. It's not exactly a...
It is. I mean, it's designed for a different purpose, but it just makes it shoot a lot nicer. It's not as soft of a push as my Legion single action only.
It's lighter than that, though, wouldn't you think?
But the gun's a lot lighter.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's because I was shooting the Glock, but I'm feeling a little wear here on the top of my thumb.
Yep.
On this part, and that's the only thing that I'm noticing. I don't know if it's...
Now, I'm wearing gloves today, so I can't really comment on that. I have no pain there.
Yeah, you might want to try it without a glove to see if you're feeling that or not. You could actually see it right there. But that could be from the Glock.
Oh, the shotgun.
And it just got transferred over. No, because I shoot the shotgun with my left hand.
Ah, good observation. Cool, man. Good feedback. I mean, it's a soft shooter. Seems accurate. Hasn't jammed yet. We put a couple hundred rounds through it.
Yeah, I like the this mag release. It's perfect for my thumb. I always have I have small hands, so
now it's worth mentioning
I always
that
have a hard time with mag releases on guns. I always have to like reposition my hand.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning we swapped to the smaller mag release button on this because I felt like the medium and the large were a little too intrusive. I'm also going to mention that I swapped to the larger back strap that came with the Canik or the Canik. With my Walthers, I use a medium. But with this gun, I actually liked the way that the larger backstrap, and it's not even like larger, it's just contoured so that it pushes the crotch of your thumb up higher on the grip. So
maybe that's what's doing it to my thumb then.
It might be. Might be. Well, I'm gonna pop my gloves off.
Crows? Is this crow power?
I think it's powered with Crotein.
True Crotein. Double-headed Crotein.
All right, so far the Canik is doing pretty good. No jam so far. We're probably getting towards the 300 round mark. Alphacat wanted to go through the walking station, which is a shot on the left, a walking shot, a shot on the left, then a rotate over to a smaller, farther shot on the right. So we're gonna see how he does. Ready when you are.
Go.
Hit. All right. Just leave the mag in it. Maybe I'll try, or you want to do it again?
Let me do it one more time.
All right. You hurt yourself on the second shot because you took so much time to do the first shots. Go. Nice. Damn, dude. That was 4 for 5. Knocked the target down. That was pretty impressive. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm liking this gun more and more and more.
Yeah, well, you just like hitting.
I just...
It's tough to argue with hitting.
It's making it easy.
Yeah, I mean, neither him or I are great pistol marksmen. I mean, mostly we run rifles and stuff like that. But we do like to do these walking targets just to kind of challenge ourselves and try something different. And because we can, because we have this awesome place to do it, but also because it's a lot more like realistic. Like if you were being shot at and you had the capability to move and shoot, you're a lot less likely to get hit. So, you know, we think of it as a pretty practical skill to have. And we don't use huge targets. They're kind of close, but you know, this one over here is, I think, is that an 8 or a 10-inch plate? Tough call.
I'll say 8.
It's like an 8 or 10-inch plate that's close. It's like, you know, 8 to 10 yards, maybe inside of that. Let's say 7 yards. But this second shot is what, 15 to 20 yards?
Yeah.
And it's on like a 6-inch diamond. And that, you know, when I see guys hit that in one shot, I'm always really impressed. I can do it, but not every time. So I'll see how it goes with the Canik. I think it's funny we call it the Canik.
Canik.
That's funny. Okay, so it will slam close with mag. Which, ooh, she's hot. We've been putting a lot of rounds through this thing in short order.
It's cooking.
Yeah, it's cooking my ass a little over here.
So if you stick a mag in it, the slide locks
Yeah, if you
4?
jam it. I've got 21 rounds in the mag right now.
Oh,
I was trying to be a dick. All right. Pistol Pete, trying the Canik.
You got one in the chamber?
Yep.
Okay.
Shooter ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Got it. 3, 2, 1, go. Out of bounds.
Doesn't count.
Flag on the play. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Inbounds. You had the toes inbounds.
I was like one of those football players. Like, man, I really.
So what do you think of that compared to your Walther now?
You know, I think it's too early to tell.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so far it's been reliable. I'm making this hit wicked easy. I'm having a hard time lining up on that. Could be me. I'm not shooting the best today, but I can kind of feel it's me. Not going to blame anything else on me. I mean, at this point, after grouping it at 10 yards or whatever, the gun's doing what it's got to do. I think I've just got to kind of tighten up a little bit.
You just got to adapt to the sights.
Shooter ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Nice. You crushed the close one. You were moving too, man.
I'm trying to do double hits, double tap.
I mean, hey man, push yourself. I love it. Now, Alphacat's not using the holster. I've got it on my belt, so he's just starting with a gun in hand. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Go. Freaked him out. Nice. That's a really hard target.
Yeah, when you're standing still, it's easy.
Yeah, when you're standing still, like any reasonable pistol, you should be able to whack that thing.
Yeah.
But when you're moving and you just rotate it over and you're like trying to time it, because we've got a start and a stop zone here. So these two rocks represent kind of the starting point. You're not supposed to fire before those rocks. And then once you go through, you have about 10 paces and then you got your final rock. So when we say start and stop, those are that's kind of the cutoff there.
Yeah, that was out of bounds a lot.
Out of bounds.
All right, so the Canik fell. The low quality Trump wall design. You know, I think that's why Martin doesn't come out anymore, because he's just not taking responsibility for this
The shoddy craftsmanship.
safety hazard.
Well, so the Canik fell.
The Canik fell, and then this brick fell on top of the Canik. So
literally flopped right on top of the thing. I watched it happen.
Just did a complete belly flop.
Yeah. So we'll see how it holds up. We'll take a look at the finish and stuff. That's kind of how we treat stuff out here at the Hideout, guys. It just happens.
It's got a big gouge in the slide.
Does it?
Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah, damn. Jeez. It's like a dog chewed on it.
It is, isn't it? Can you see it?
Yeah, it's
Look at
bad.
that. Look at the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of how things get treated out here, guys.
It's a good thing it's not $1,000 Legion.
Yeah, look at this.
That's a
First
kick in
time
the
out.
balls.
First time out. Let's
Well,
see if it runs.
Now it's a shooter.
Hey man, it was always a shooter. Yeah, definitely looks like it's been through a war already. All right. Well, let's see.
Well, now we got an excuse if we don't hit this 115-yard target.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the sights got hit or anything. So, first off, that was not a hit. That was a way low round. Just right.
Still pipe.
First failure. So we got our first failure with the Canik. This is Fiocchi 115 grain. We've got a stovepipe. Looks like it's loading the other round. Let's see how that goes. Hit! That was a ricochet off the edge of the plate, I believe. We'll count that as a hit.
1 out of 20.
That was 2.
1 hit, 2 out of 20?
Yeah, that counts as a hit. I mean, you could see that there's some brass shavings around. It's definitely crudded up. I mean, it's got sand in it. It's been dropped a couple times. It's actually had a brick fall on top of it.
Mac doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's not part of Mac's test. You can literally see where, not if there's, you can literally see that, like that mark on the slide. This thing's already getting hammered on out here, which is fine, you know. This gun's cheap enough where it's like, you know, if this thing's a runner, maybe we'll try more of these Caniks and see how they do out here, because stuff does get beat up out here. It's not a, the Hideout is not a place for safe creens. Would you agree, Alphacat?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So, I mean, that's the expectation out here. We treat these things like tools. So we had 1 stovepipe. We went through, that's 400, I believe, so far. I want to run a little Tula before we get out of here, but we only have a few minutes, so we got to really get chopping. All right, so we're wrapping up our first day out, testing out the Canik TP9SFX in FDE. So we put just a little under 500 rounds today. It is Mother's Day, so I've got to get back.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. I've got to get back and do some stuff, wife stuff. But we had 1 failure with the gun. It was a stovepipe with Fiocchi 115 grain ammo, which is good ammo. So can't explain that. Didn't look like it was limp wristed or anything. We got it on tape, so we'll review the footage. We put through just under 500 rounds. I think it was 484 rounds. So we got some good banging out of it. That was the only failure. Gun shot pretty well. I was having a hard time connecting with it at longer range. That was one of my takeaways. Other than that, it was dead reliable for me. Really fun to shoot. Really soft recoil impulse. I think the gun generally looks cool. I think that the holster that comes with it's pretty awesome, although I do need to tighten it up a little bit. It started rotating when I was running at one point, so I do need to tighten up the tension on a little bit. Other than that, I'm gonna call it a keeper. Oh, I should also mention, we did have a brick fall on top of the gun, so that happened.
Not a normal thing.
Yeah, not a normal thing, and it chewed up the frame a little bit.
Not intentional.
Yeah, just pretty much what you would expect, though. I mean, if a brick fell on a gun, that's like, what, a 10-pound brick, or 8 to 12-pound brick, we'll call it. And smashed it pretty good. But Alphacat, what do you think, man?
I like the gun a lot. I mean, it shoots really nice. It fits in my hand. I have smaller hands, so I really have a hard time finding a gun that fits my hand properly. And it shoots points easy.
Yeah.
The sights are great. I like the fiber optic front sight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that, you know, I noticed that my thumb was kind of like getting a little chewed on.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the gun. I think I was just getting worn out from shooting that Glock. Because after I shot it the second time, I think I maybe adjusted my grip and I didn't really feel it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. So 1 out of 484 was a failure. The gun, we actually ran some Tula through the gun too. So we did run a couple boxes of Tula 115 grain through the gun just to see if it ran, and that stuff actually ran fine. It was only like 100 rounds, but it did run fine. It hit really well. Surprisingly enough, I had some hits on the small target at 35 yards with the Tula. My first shot with the Tula actually hit, so go figure. Probably some luck there, but whatever.
The mags are easy to load too on it. Yeah,
mags are easy to load. I really like the 20 round mag. I really do. I mean, 17 is good, but 20 is better. I'm definitely going to take this thing apart and clean it because it was dropped at least 2 or 3 times in the sand. That's another thing. I mean, Mac does his tests, which are cool, but real world, what does a drop look like? Well, we had 2 or 3 of them on this gun today. Like straight up drops in the sand. You know, it's dusty now. It got hit with a brick. This is just kind of how stuff works out here. I went into a little rant earlier about, you know, how guns that we bring out here are definitely not safe creens, and I mean that's certainly the expectation with this gun, is that it's going to get run hard, assuming it was accurate and reliable. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up after the first session. I'm going to say that I bought this gun to run an optic, and I'm going to buy an optic for it. What do you think? You think it's worth getting an optic for it?
I've only shot a gun with an RMR type sight once, and it's not the same as shooting it with a rifle. You really have to get onto that sight properly. I guess once you start training for it, it'll work. And I was able to use it. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. You know, I'm not really a big fan of having an optic sight for a gun that you're going to carry around, but
that's the thing. I think
it might be nice for this one because it's so lightweight.
Yeah, and I think like if we're talking about that philosophy of use for me for this gun is going to be trying out an optic on a pistol for really the first time. Right now, I'm leaning towards either an FDE Trijicon with a triangle reticle or the Holosun HS507C, which I'm kind of leaning towards a Holosun. It's not FDE, which would be cool to match the gun or whatever, but I'm a huge Holosun fan, so I want to try their pistol sight, and this might be the good kind of opportunity to do it. I'll tell you what, why don't next time, I'll probably get that sight for it. I'll clean the gun, I'll take it apart, I'll clean it. Next time we come out, I'll see if I can't get that sight on, and we'll try it next time with an optic and then report back to see how it goes. What do you think about that?
That sounds good.
Cool, dude. All right, Pistol Pete and Alphacat wrapping up. Thanks for watching the Spent Pass channel, guys. Subscribe, like, dislike, comment, you know, enjoy. Later.
Or don't.
Yeah.
Or don't.
We're going to edit that out.